Hello there. I hope you're doing great. Okay. You know what? I've got a problem here on Instagram. So give me just a moment. I'm going to see if I can get this resolved. I think I know what the problem is. Give me just a moment here. I hope you're having a fantastic week and enjoying life. Um, I need to, there we go. I'm already logged in. Okay. This is not working very well. I'm having trouble getting on here. And I thought maybe it was a problem with the Wi-Fi, but it's that appears to be okay. I guess it'll happen if it happens. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing great. Yeah, it's not for some reason not working. All right, let me see what we've got so far. I see there's about 17 of you here with me. I'm glad to see you all. Theodore says, "Hey, my friend, hope you're doing awesome. How long after fast would you say it can take to see all the benefits of the fast? And do you have a miracle healing story to share?" Um, well, I've got lots of them, literally hundreds of them, miracles. I'm not sure what I've already shared with you and what I haven't. So let's see. Um, I just got off the phone with, yeah, for some reason it's not going live on Instagram. I don't know why that would be. That's strange. It's on the same Wi-Fi, I think. Let's try that one. Okay, give me 1 second here. I think was in the wrong one. Give me just a moment. Sorry about this. This happens sometimes because my schedule is so busy. I've had back-to-back calls, and so I don't really have much free time to set this all up. And I'm in a hotel room here in San Diego, and therefore wasn't really ready for this today. Um, but let's see if that works better. That should do. I am live. Okay, good. So we're now live on both Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Okay, good. All right, sorry about that. So I've got a couple super chats, but let me scroll back up here because I was in the middle of reading. Theodore is asking about a miracle healing story. Miracle healing story, right? Let me see. Yeah, here's one that I haven't talked about in a long time. This may not uh, affect so many people. Well, in fact, it's interesting because I often get people talking about sensory issues, and especially nowadays, people that get COVID lose their taste and smell, etc. These are things we would expect to come back very quickly with fasting. By fasting long enough, we should see a complete resolution of these issues. And to sort of demonstrate that, we've had many people who have had some degree of hearing loss, but we had a gentleman years ago who was the lead guitarist for the loudest rock and roll band in Melbourne, Australia, for years. I mean, I think he was, at the time I met him, he was, I think, close to 40. Had been doing it since he was a teenager, so it'd been like 20 years, and he lost 70% of his hearing because he was on stages playing this very loud music all the time. He fasted with me for 42 days and completely recovered his hearing. Now, at the same time, we see almost everybody see their vision improve if they don't already have perfect vision, and most people don't. I mean, certainly as people age, it tends to be less than optimal. In my family, everybody has corrected vision, wears glasses or contacts, or has had LASIK surgery, except me. 6 siblings, both my parents. My dad's passed away now almost 9 years ago, 9 or 10. But everyone did or does need some sort of correction, and I've never needed it yet, and perhaps never will. As long as I keep my body clean and hydrated, my vision should serve me perfectly well. But we've actually fasted 2 groups of blind people. I had a client who ran a center for African Americans with vision problems, and we fasted 2 groups of small groups, 5, 6 people each time, and each person saw dramatic improvements to their vision, each and every one of them. The woman who started the center had done it because her own vision, she went from being legally blind, unable to see a person 3 feet in front of her, to driving a car without needing to wear glasses. That's how much she improved. That's pretty, I mean, we never saw another person have quite the same degree of healing that she did. Lots of improvements, but never to that extent. But that's possible. I mean, she did that, right? So it can happen. And let's talk about smell. We had a young man once, this is long before COVID existed, right? We had a young man who had been abusing cocaine for several years and had completely lost his sense of smell and got it back 100%. So it's, again, examples of how the body can regenerate itself. So I'm going to leave that for now. Theodore, thanks so much for your comments and questions. We've got several super chats here now, 3 of them. So let me go ahead and respond to those. Joanne Lasoka has made a $2 Canadian contribution. I don't see a comment, Joanna. I think I said Joanne, it's Joanna. I don't see a comment here, so I apologize if I'm missing it, but I don't see one. So I think we will probably, there we go. Have you had women healing dysmenorrhea? Yeah, absolutely. Although dysmenorrhea is a very interesting thing because, dysmenorrhea. Actually, I have to look that up. I'm thinking amenorrhea when you stop menstruating. So dysmenorrhea, let me do a quick search here. Characterized by severe and frequent menstrual cramps and pain during your period. Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. So why that happens because your body is using this time of the month as another way, and the channel, the reproductive system is another means to detoxify your body, and that's why menstruation is painful. That's because it shouldn't be painful at all. In fact, in a truly clean, healthy system, the bloating month is your body sheds the lining of the uterus, right? Lets go of the old egg, the month-old egg, puts a new egg into place. And the idea is to create the possibility for a healthy pregnancy. And so what the body wants to do before getting pregnant is be as clean as possible. So it's a limited opportunity for some heavy detox to happen. And that's what's happening. That's what's going on when you are menstruating. The heavier that process is, and perhaps depending on certain factors in the body, it can be very painful. When your body's clean, it's not a big deal. In fact, many women don't even realize that they're about to menstruate, which I suppose can be a little bit inconvenient, because all of a sudden you could have a little bit of spotting when you weren't expecting it, right? On the other hand, the body usually also becomes more regular when it's balanced, although some women are regular anyway. But so yeah, this is something that should be no problem to heal. I would recommend, generally speaking, in a situation like that, I mean, I'd have to know more about you and what's going on for you. But usually with that, I would recommend at least 21 days fasting for those women that can do that. And almost everyone can do that. Even very lean people can usually go that long. Okay. Light Code Warrior has made a $5 contribution and said, "Hi, Loren. No question here. Just excited to fast with you in about 3 weeks. Thanks for everything you do, Renee." Renee, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for your generous contribution. We're excited to have you joining us, and I know it's going to be an amazing experience for you. It is for virtually everyone who's willing to actually surrender to the process and do what they need to do. It requires you to rest as completely as possible. It requires you to sip enough water. And that's it. If you can do those two things, which aren't, it's not terribly complicated. Now, it may be difficult. It could be a little bit painful. But if you can do those two things, you're going to see amazing things happening. Okay. You're going to see amazing things happening. I promise you. Okay. All right. Those Love Songs is here with a $35 contribution. Thank you so much, Martha. I appreciate that so much. She says, welcome to Southern California. I forgot. I guess I knew that you were in Southern California. I didn't remember that. I don't know where you are. I've had several people ask me, because I've talked about coming here, whether there was going to be a live event here. Unfortunately, there isn't. I had hoped there would be, but that didn't. It's not so easy to organize those kinds of things these days. A lot of people are still worried about meeting, and there's rules, etc. So nothing happening here. I'm here doing some work, meeting with some people I need to meet with, connecting with some friends. But that's it. Anyway, thank you so much. It's very generous. I appreciate that. I see there's some questions here on Instagram, and I've got one more contribution here, one more super chat here on YouTube, and then I'll jump over to Instagram and answer one or two questions there, and then I'll come back to YouTube. Okay, so don't go away. I'll get to your questions very shortly. Ian 444444 has made a £5 contribution and said, hi, Loren, what happened to the Chilean lady, Roxana, that's right, that you were helping with the court fine? So what happened was her lawyer appealed. She was given a week to pay. For anyone who doesn't know the story, Roxana is a client of mine who was somewhat high profile in Chile. She had been on television, on a TV program. She had been an underwear model, and she has, I forget, 180,000 subscribers maybe on Instagram. And she's fasted with me 3 times now. The first time was at Tanglewood. The second and third times were both, in these last couple of years when she wasn't allowed to travel. You're unable to leave Chile. I mean, most people haven't been able to leave their homes for most of this time. They've been in and out of these lockdowns. And so the second time she fasted with me remotely and shared her story on her Instagram channel on a regular basis, 3 times a week. She was posting something. And every week, every Sunday, we did a live broadcast together for an hour where she would talk about what was going on. I would answer people's questions. I mean, we would both answer people's questions. We were doing this together. And she was fined, and I forget now the exact amount, but I think it was around 30,000 US. She was fined in Chilean pesos, millions of Chilean pesos, which is a lot of money for someone from Chile. And it amounted to around 30,000 US dollars. Was told, this is a single mother, was told she would go to jail if she didn't pay the fine in a week. And she contacted me immediately. I told her I would do whatever I could to help her. And we set up a GoFundMe, which is still open. You can probably find it if you search, actually, Stephanie Paulice, Police, who might be listening. Hello, Stephanie, who's helping me actually prepare for these lives by sharing on Facebook. Stephanie set up the GoFundMe campaign for me, and we raised some money. Not the $30,000 or $35,000. I think it might have been 35,000, and then there was going to be legal, lawyers' fees, etc. And the idea was to raise as much of that as possible for her. We didn't accomplish that. She's not in jail. This was months ago. Her lawyer filed an appeal, and nothing has happened. We haven't heard anything else yet. So she could be told tomorrow that she has to pay the fine. Um, she might be told that she doesn't need to. Um, what we'll probably do if she doesn't need to pay the fine is we'll use that. I'll need to talk to my lawyer about setting something up to help with social justice, medical freedom. And this has become a huge issue all over the world today. I can't say too much more, and probably don't need to. Most of you know what I'm talking about, but that's what's going on. Thanks for asking. That's what's going on. If anybody wants to help with that, you can go to GoFundMe. You can probably search Roxana Munoz, Munoz, or Stephanie Paulis, Pollice, and we'll find it one of those two ways. Okay, we just have another super chat come in. RPCAFF. I have no idea what that is, but okay. £5 English pound contribution, and says, "Hi, Loren. Recently diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Want to work with you. What's your experience with full healing despite being told it's incurable?" Our experience is that almost everyone heals completely from Crohn's if they fast long enough. And with serious lower GI tract problems, it's typically a 26 to 30-day fast, which is a 5 or 6 week process. If you can make that happen, and again, you can either come to Tanglewood in Costa Rica, which is amazing. It's spectacularly beautiful. The climate's incredible. The site is gorgeous, comfortable. My staff is amazing. We have an incredible team of volunteers there to support you. The food is incredible. Clean air, perfect water bubbling up out of the ground. That's what we drink. That's what we flush our toilets with, is perfect spring water. Here I'm buying bottled spring water because in glass bottles. At least that's available. Not always. It is in some places. You can't get that. But yeah, I mean, it's an incredible experience at Tanglewood if you can get to Tanglewood. If you can't, I can work with you remotely. And the remote fasting program we have is actually pretty powerful. We have there's a daily group call, so you have a little community of like-minded people. We have up to 6 people on a call. I have one call right now with 6 people. I have other calls, but sometimes I'm completely full, and there's 6 people on each call, and sometimes there's less than that. There's a daily group call. It's a 1-hour call. There's time to talk with everyone. You need to take your vital signs each day, and we send you a spreadsheet which you complete each day with some basic information about your vital signs, about how much sleep you got, how many times you had bowel movements, how many times you got up to pee at night, how much water you drank. And then we're going to measure pulse, blood pressure, temperature, weight, and several other things are optional as well. And very interesting if we have like a bioimpedance scale to measure body fat and muscle mass and water mass in the body. So it's we have that, and then you get an email with a video from me every single day, which it really helps you. I mean, people tell me it really makes a huge difference for them. They feel educated, inspired, and motivated, and they're able to make it through the process. Almost everyone finishes their process, and we see amazing things happen. So 26 to 30 days. With that, chances are probably 90% that you'll heal completely by the end of the entire process, the refeeding process, and sometimes a little longer. I mean, one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to move out a lot of old hard material. That's one of the reasons why these diseases, lower GI tract diseases, develop, is because of the presence of a lot of old hard stuff. It's probably from abusing ourselves. I did this. I had irritable bowel syndrome 37 years ago, and it's one of the things that put me on this path at 23. Which I'm 60 now, so it's been a while. But yes, you're very, very likely that you will heal completely if you're willing and able to do that. Okay, so I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your support. Let me scroll up here to the first comment I saw here on Instagram some ways back. Where was that? I think I skipped over it. By the way, there's a lot of people here. I apologize. I see Yael and Cocaberry. Good to see you guys. Edie Surfboards says, "Hi, Loren. What do you think about cryotherapy, and red light therapy. Okay, so cryotherapy, for anyone who's not familiar with it, is cold therapy. It's where they like freeze you. You go into very, very cold water, or these compartments that are super chilled, and supposedly this helps you heal. I'm not so sure that we're really doing much more than treating symptoms. I mean, the most effective way to heal, remember, healing is a biological process. So without trying to manipulate, I believe that when we manipulate the body, we wind up creating unintended side effects. And we see a lot of this with people who have done a lot of manipulation before. Um, Therefore, the single most efficient and effective thing that you can do is generally fasting, which is why I run a fasting center, because it's the best way that I know of. It's how I healed my own body from multiple issues, and how we've now seen miracles over and over again. I mean, this question about lower GI tract problems. Medicine says you can't heal them. Medicine says you can't heal type 2 diabetes. Medicine says you can't heal hypertension. We have 100% success with both hypertension and type 2 diabetes. Actually, we had one older guy who got within six, he dropped his blood pressure 50 points. He was still 6 points above normal, but that's a pretty serious win. We see type 1 diabetes. I have a client, the woman who does my YouTube videos, Gazelle, who might be watching. Hello there if you're watching. Her last A1C test, which is a medical test to see whether you're diabetic or not, said that she was no longer diabetic. I started to say earlier, I didn't finish my sentence, got distracted, I think because I was having trouble with Instagram, but I had just gotten off the call for this call. I just got off a call with a gentleman who is a partner in the Academy for Vibrant Living, Fran. His wife fasted with me 18 months ago. She was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was a little girl, and according to her last brain scan, no longer has epilepsy. That's impossible. All these things are impossible, and they happen all the time. The fact that medicine says something is impossible only means that using medicine, it ain't going to heal. Well, nothing does. I mean, some things heal in spite of medicine. It was Voltaire, the French philosopher and poet, who said many years ago, the art of medicine consists in amusing the patient while nature cures the disease. The body heals itself, and it will often heal even though you're doing idiotic things like taking toxic drugs. Toxic drugs never healed anyone. They only suppress symptoms. No toxic substance can make you heal. I hope that's clear to everyone here. I mean, I know it's not clear to most of the world, but I also know I have an extraordinary group of people who follow me and understand what I'm talking about. Most people don't get this. There are people who argue with me that drugs healed them. Of course, people also argue with me that herbs healed them, that superfoods healed them, that no, nothing heals you. Fasting doesn't heal you either. Your body heals itself. Only the body can heal the body. There is no other way to heal. Healing is a biological process, so only the organism can heal the organism. Okay, that's it. Red light therapy. I don't know if you're talking about, I'm guessing you're talking about infrared light. And infrared light, which is a part of the natural spectrum of sunlight, is beneficial to us in many ways and does things for us, including warming the body up from inside. The infrared rays actually penetrate the body, and I think they go like 3/4 of an inch into the body and can warm. This is why when you go, even on a cold, sunny day, if you can expose yourself to sunlight without breeze, because the breeze will cool you down, the wind will cool you down, the sun will warm you up, even if the air is cold. Okay, and it's affecting your surface of your body, but also actually penetrating your body and going into the body itself. And it's a very powerful thing. But I would still fast. If I wanted to heal, if I had something significant to heal, I would be fasting. That's the first thing I would do. I would fast. I mean, I would fast only with experienced guidance, because it's a serious process and you need to know what you're doing and know that you're doing it correctly and everything's okay. But come spend a month or more with me, and I'll guarantee you, everyone here, okay, I'll guarantee you that you feel and function better than you have for many, many years. And for some of you, better than you ever have. Okay, that's what happens. We see miracles literally all the time. All of the time. Okay, Another question here. This is Mishka 42, and Mishka says, "Hey Loren, any experience with cherry angiomas popping after going mostly fruit?" Um, no, I can't say I have any experience with that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know much about that. I don't know that I've seen that happen. But anyway, okay, I'm going to come back over now to YouTube and answer some questions here. Ken Allen Show says, your thoughts on chiropractic adjustment in the name of realignment. Well, I think chiropractic adjustment can be useful. I think you want to be cautious because sometimes it's exceedingly violent, in my opinion, right? Sometimes there's it's like a violent movement that I don't think is such a good idea. But when it's not overly violent, I think it can be useful. And there's various different types of chiropractic, there's different styles. I was introduced many years ago. I was on a lecture tour and had spoken in somewhere in Oklahoma. And there was a chiropractor there, an upper cervical chiropractor. So your cervical spine is your neck, okay? And the upper cervical. And this guy offered me a free treatment as thanks for the the amazing seminar, in his words. And so I went to see him the next day, and he gave me this treatment, and it's very gentle, like fingertip pressure on these bones in your upper neck. You barely feel anything. There's just a little bit of a popping sound. You don't really feel much, and I didn't really think anything was going to happen. He told me, "Be careful when you get up," and I was like, "Oh, come on, nothing. You haven't done anything." And I felt, I felt a little wobbly at first. He actually measured some things, and upper cervical chiropractors, the founder of it, invented a scale that actually weighs how much weight you've got on each of your 2 feet. We should be standing with even weight on both feet. Most people are more like 60-40. Okay, something like way off balance. And they also measure the alignment of your shoulders, your hips. I forget where else. I think there are 3 points. And so he measured these things afterwards, and it was a huge difference with one treatment. He offered me another treatment, but I was leaving town the next morning to go to my next venue to speak. And so I never saw him again in person. We're still in touch. This was probably 20 years ago. I still hear from him sometimes. Great guy. Maybe he's on here today. But I'd recommend upper cervical chiropractic because apparently what happens in the upper cervical spine affects the whole spine. Okay. And so that's a way to treat these issues without the violence that can happen with regular chiropractic. And again, obviously it depends on the chiropractor, who it is you're working with. There are some exceptions, but usually at least 6 months seems to me to be ideal. Okay, Enrico Napolitano says, hi, Loren, our body bowel movements consume more energy to move along the intestinal tract, avocados or watermelon, which fruits consume less energy to move internally? Thanks. I don't know. I mean, I would assume, you're asking about how much energy it takes to move feces through the intestine. I don't know that anyone's ever measured that. Things that are high in water content are easier to move, generally speaking. As long as something has enough water content, it should move without any problem. But it may well be that, again, things that have more water are going to move more easily. So watermelon would be easier because most avocados are around 80% water. Most watermelons around 92% water. So theoretically, I would think it would be the watermelon. But I'm not really sure that that's a valid statement because I don't know that anyone's ever looked at how much energy it takes to move something through the intestine. I don't really know what the answer would be. Okay, I'm not, it might be that any difference is a tiny difference. The real issue is when we're consuming things that don't contain enough water or fiber. These are all things we shouldn't be eating at all, including grains and processed foods and animal products. These things the body has a very difficult time moving at all through the system because without water and fiber, they don't move very well. And so stuff gets stuck. And, again, having fasted people now for many, many years. I mean, Tanglewood will be 25 years old in March. We have fasted many thousands of people over these 2.5 decades. And everybody who does what I'm encouraging them, if they follow my coaching, my simple guidance, everyone eliminates pounds and pounds of old hard material. Okay, everyone eliminates pounds and pounds of old hard material. Okay. Um, okay, Bob is asking the same question again here. I answered already on Instagram. Flyer says, hey, Loren, do you feel the impact of dryness even with a low in water fruit like longan, 82%, on you compared to high like watermelon? My experience is that 85 or lower make me feel dry. I just had some longans. I bought a bag of them. My mother had never had them. I was visiting my mother last week and bought a bag so that she could try them primarily. I mean, I like them a lot, although I like the ones we grow better than the ones that I bought at the Asian market in Houston. No, I don't notice me feeling any more dry as long as things have, say, 80% water or more, no issue. Now with bananas, which can be 73, 72, 73, 74% water, where bowel movement, the average bowel movement is around 75%. So eating things that are lower in water than stool typically means your body is losing some water to them to move them through your system. And so when I eat the very sweet fruits, and almost all very sweet fruits, like, well, persimmons are right around 80% water. I've got some persimmons sitting here, actually. I've had some very good fruit here. Not because that's the typical situation in the market, but because I've had a lovely tour guide who knows where all the best farmers markets are and knows who to buy from. And so I had the best strawberries I've ever had in my life the other day. I've had, let's see, I had this amazing orange watermelon. Those of you on Instagram probably saw that the other day. I've had yellow watermelon and red watermelon. I've never had orange ones before. Taste a little different. They were very good. I've had some fantastic, it's a tangerine hybrid. It's called a tango. It's very much like a mandarin orange. Delicious. Had a bunch of those. What else have we had? Oh, I've had some very good figs. Not the best figs I've ever had, but some very good figs as well. And I'm probably forgetting a few things. Some great tomatoes, cucumbers, all organic and all by people that know what they're doing and grow high quality food. So no, I haven't noticed that myself. As long as stuff is 80% water or more, I feel fine eating it. Below that, yeah, I'll feel a little bit dry. Okay, let's see here. Let me come back up here to Instagram and see what's the main difference between fasting a few days per week on a regular basis and doing 1 or 2 long fasts a year. The question is, what's the biggest difference between doing a few days per week on a regular basis or doing a couple of longer fasts per year? The biggest difference is results. It's healing, it's hydration, it's vitality and level of health. It takes 10 to 11 days to get to the deepest part of the process. Okay, so you can do a million fasts of 2 or 3 days and you never ever get into the deepest part of the process. You never do the kind of deep cleansing and healing that occurs on a long fast. It just doesn't happen. You're never going to move out all the old hard dry stuff in your system. You're never going to move a lot of the toxic material out throughout your muscle organs. It's never going to happen. It's not long enough. You're never going to see the profound healing and results that we see with these long processes. Okay, so the results, I mean, the difference is enormous. I fasted when I started my journey many years ago, more than 30 years ago, 35 or so years ago. I started out fasting 1 day a week. Well, it was really longer than that. It was like 40, 42 or 44 hours each week. And then I went to a 3 or 4 day fast each month. And then I realized that these fasts were nowhere near as powerful I was still not really getting into the deep stuff. And so I started doing much longer fasts of 2 and 3 weeks. And that's where I really started to see the magic happen. It's the same for everyone I work with. I mean, there's no comparison whatsoever. So if you haven't done more than a few days at a time, I mean, the key is with the short days, a few days at a time, you can do on your own, but you're never ever going to come close to maximizing your benefits. As I said a few minutes ago, come fast with me for 4 weeks or longer, a 4 week or longer process, 21 days or longer, 21 to 30 days, we'll say for most people. Come do 21 to 30 days fasting with me, a 4 to 6 week process. I'll guarantee you in writing that you'll take your health to a new level. Okay, that's not happening with 3 and 4 day fasts. You might be getting benefit. I'm not saying you're not. One thing you should be aware of is that from about 20 hours in on average to about 3.5 days in, your body is consuming primarily muscle. You're getting very little real cleansing, and you're losing muscle every single time you do it. So I think you want to ask yourself, is this a good trade-off? I don't think it is. I don't recommend fasting 3 or 4 days unless your body's calling for it. So for instance, you wake up and you got a head full of mucus, or you've got pain in your knee, or you've got a fever, or you've got a sore throat, or you've got something going on, your body needs to heal. You call in sick if you have to call in, you stay in bed and you sip water. And if that's, if it's 1, 2, 3 days until you feel better, fine, then you fast 1, 2, 3 days. But that's because your body's actually calling for it. Okay. Doing this on a regular basis, I don't recommend doing. You're simply not getting the benefit, and you're costing yourself muscle. It makes no sense to me. I did it and wouldn't do it again. Certainly wouldn't recommend it. Again, I'll guarantee the results if you fast with me, because I know it's way, way more powerful. Endless Burning Energy says maybe I can get to Costa Rica before December. I don't know. Maybe you can. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, and maybe I'm missing part of a message here, but yeah, I mean, I'm planning on getting to Costa Rica next week. You can probably do that too. You might not be in a position to do that right now. We open on October 30th. We are pretty close to completely full. I think we were completely full. We just had someone have to postpone. They have some issue traveling now. I think a serious sickness in the family they have to deal with, something like that. So we may have a space available for the 30th of October. For those of you, if you're ready to take your health to an amazing new level, we can probably still take someone now. You're going to want to get that happen. You're registered, reserved as quickly as you can. After that, we still have a little bit more space available for the second half of the session. So if you're coming, if you want to come for 4 weeks, we can take you around whatever the Saturday is. I think it's the 11th of December. We have space. If you want to come 5 weeks, we can take you on the 4th of December. I think that's the right date. And if you want to come for 6 weeks, I think we can still take you on what would be the 27th of November, something like that. Okay. After that, our next session starts. We close and we open again on the 26th of February. I'll remind everyone that on the 19th of February, we have our 5th or 6th, I forget, annual Tanglewood Fruit Festival. It's an amazing event. If you've been to fruit festivals before, this one, I've never seen a fruit festival where everything was 100% organic. Everything we serve is 100% organic at the fruit festival. It's an intimate event. We've had as many as 35 people. It's not a huge thing, but it means you actually get a chance to meet everyone. You'll get a chance to speak to me as much as you want to. We'll have meals together. Everyone can actually sit down in the same space at 5 or 6 tables and eat together. At least that's how it's been until now. We have a couple bonfires. We'll have a live band. We'll have an ecstatic dance. We'll spend a day at a spectacularly beautiful Costa Rican beach. We will hike to the highest 2 waterfalls in Central America on the land that we own, where we're creating a nature preserve. It's an amazing event. And if you want to come on the 26th of February, you could come a week early, enjoy 50 plus varieties of organic fruit, and and then stay to fast afterwards. And that would be an amazing, amazing way to spend 5 or 6 weeks of your time. Okay, I hope that helps you. Mind and body soul, hello there, good to see you. Sherry likes fruit, hello there, Sherry, good to see you. Hi, Jessica, good to see you here. Carol, nice to see you. Valentina, hola, bienvenidos, good to see you here. Lisk Martini, okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to say that, but hello there, welcome. Hello, everybody. I'm better than Hendrix. You must be very good. Hendrix was pretty good. Rossi, Angelo, Ledvez, many more people. I apologize. I'm not going to be able to say everyone's name, but I'm glad to see you here. Thank you for joining me. I hope this is beneficial to you. Mafia says, I'll be glad. I'll be at Tanglewood in a couple of weeks. We're glad you're coming. 40-day water fast. Awesome. Good for you. We're looking forward to having you. It's going to be a life-changing experience for you. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. By the way, we've got about 15 minutes left. I'll mention now, you've been here long enough, some of you have already been here long enough to know that this is useful, valuable, important information or not. If this is useful, valuable, important information, you enjoy this, you appreciate this, perhaps you can give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. Perhaps you can give it a like on Instagram. I would appreciate that very much. Don't forget too, if you think other people would benefit from hearing this information, you can take this link and share it on your pages as well. Okay, so please feel free to do that. All right. See lots more people here. Hello there, everybody. You are very, very welcome. Rustin, hair by Rustlin, I think. Vegan Mom, hello there. Good to see you. Closter and Francis and Clariston, good to see you. 3 Isabels. That's a lot of Isabels. I don't know if I could handle more than 1 Isabel at a time. Roma Chado Alejo, good to see you here. Tatiana Forte, many others. I'm going to jump back over here to YouTube and see if there's any other. Let's see. Okay, we do have another super chat here from Michael Paulusland, who has made a £5 contribution and says, hi, Loren, please could you differentiate between the types of healing that take place during fasting and then refeeding, rebuilding? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a great question. The problem is we don't really have ways to measure most of this. So I'm waving to people here on Instagram without saying your name. Sorry about that, but I want to get to some more questions here. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're here. We can't really measure to know exactly what's happening when, and but most of the healing and cleansing occur when we're fasting. That's when most of the cleansing and healing occur. Sometimes we don't actually see the benefits of the cleansing and healing until we're refeeding. Okay, but most of the cleansing and healing actually happen while we're fasting. That's when the body is able to do everything it's able to do. Now, of course, at some point, in order to enjoy what we've done, we need to be refeeding. We need to put calories and energy and nutrients back into the body. But the vast majority of the benefits, I believe, would actually be accruing to the fasting part of the process. So types of healing, yeah, the body's always attempting to cleanse and heal, but it does it a lot more efficiently and a lot more effectively when we're fasting. As soon as we start eating again, things slow down dramatically, and we can see that. Now, one of the things that happens is that certain types of things begin to happen because we put food back in. So for instance, we've been breaking down old hard material, we're rehydrating it, now we bring food in, and that food starts to move that old hard material a little bit more and starts to hydrate it even more, because we refeed only on high water content foods. Watermelon, papaya, fresh out of the coconut water, the first couple days, things like that. And so these things are more hydrating than the water we're drinking. They're more hydrating than the water we're drinking. And so as we begin to hydrate this stuff, even faster than while we were fasting, what we see is that we might get more bloated. We might feel more nauseous, but this isn't because we're healing faster. It's simply because we're rehydrating old material. Okay, so the refeeding stage is about rebuilding the body, and it's about moving out the old material. The old hard material is not leaving the body, most of it, while fasting. Okay, the bowel movements people have while fasting are, generally speaking, stuff that's been slowly making its way through the system, not the stuff that's been stuck there for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years or more. That stuff, we're going to break it down and move it if we fast long enough and properly, but we don't expect that to start moving until you're actually eating for several days. Okay, I hope that answers your question. I think that's really the only answer I've got for you, so I hope that's sufficient. Looks like we have no other super chats. Lots more questions though, and I'm going to take them from the top. Let me go back up here and see what I've missed. Looks like the next question, Light Code Warrior says, live near San Diego for 13 years. Oh, well, I'm sorry you're not here now. Be fun to connect. Jonas Nielsen says, would you recommend doing longer fasts on a regular basis, and what's your impression of the breatharians? Jonas, as I mentioned earlier, I normally recommend 6 to 8 months between longer fasts. Most people probably, if they're done correctly, it's an investment, no question, to work with me. Okay, it's not cheap. My time is very valuable to me. I work a lot, and I guarantee my results. I guarantee you're going to get the best results possible because we know what we're doing much more, I believe, than anywhere else you can go. And that's partly because I've actually gone through it myself. Goldhammer, who runs True North, has done one 21-day fast. That's it. He does a week every year after that. That's it. That's all. He's never done any more longer fasts, just one. He doesn't supervise fasts himself. His staff does that. He's too busy, counting his money, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Goldhammer, in case you couldn't tell. But he doesn't eat optimally. His system's not clean. He's still putting old hard stuff, building it every day, so he has no idea what it feels like to have that gone. Okay, my clients drink a lot more water than his do, and it's more difficult and more dangerous, but we have much better results every single time. Okay, we have another super chat here. Let me scroll down. Citrus Simon has made a £5 contribution and says juicing helps humanity transition away from caffeine and sodas. Comment continues below. It may not be optimal, but we need more people to be healthier on the planet, so it does need to be promoted. That was the way that you bullishly dismissed juicing is a disgrace. Well, thanks for sharing your opinion. Juices are overly concentrated, largely oxidized, fragmented, imbalanced, unnatural substances, which are far inferior to whole foods. Okay, no one needs to drink juices. No one does. People could simply change their diet. The fact is, people are going to do whatever they choose to do. And thank you, by the way, for your contribution. But we just have a difference of opinion here. I see people all the time. I will be seeing Jeff of Jeff Juices from Instagram next week and looking forward to it. He's a client who did a lot of juicing for years to try to heal his body and did not heal until he did a water-only fast. It's not only that it's not optimal, it's actually harmful to the body. So I'm sorry, but I can't recommend juicing at all. I take that back. When we have someone who is very low in one of my favorite people on the planet, I have been pushing her to drink celery juice for the last 2 months. Why? Because her sodium and chloride levels were low and she's going to be fasting with me soon. Okay, and so she needed to bring those levels up a little bit, and fruits and leafy greens don't have a lot of sodium or chloride. And so this is a good way to get those two things in. You could eat celery, but you can't eat as much celery as you can juice, right? So this is a very special situation, special condition. Generally speaking, when we don't want to take in large amount, we're usually much better off not taking in excessive amounts of anything. And when we juice, we always are taking in excessive amounts of things. Okay, and so it's okay to have a difference of opinion. I've got many friends who juice and who promote juicing. I believe juicing is a bad idea, and I did it for years, by the way. And that if someone's unable or unwilling to do a water only fast, which is 1,000 times more powerful, if they're unwilling or unable to do that, then what they ought to be doing is eating whole foods. And if they need to heal and they're not willing to fast, then they should focus on spending a month eating only high water content foods like watermelon and papayas and citrus and berries, not blueberries, but all the other berries are relatively high in water, and pineapples. Things like this. These are high in water. That's going to allow the body to cleanse and heal as quickly as possible while eating whole foods, which are light years better than any juice ever could be. Now, and by the way, having said all that, I believe in being completely transparent. So I believe juices are garbage, and I'm always going to say so. And they're tasty sometimes. I mean, green juices are disgusting, and I don't drink them. But I will drink either a combination of green and fruit or fruit juice sometimes as a treat. I know it's not so good for me, but I do it anyway. I mean, it has a much higher glycemic load. Okay, if it's green, it's got way too much protein. If it's fruit, it's got way too much sugar. These are far, far from optimal. Okay, far from optimal. And yet I'll have one maybe every 3 months or so. I might have a glass of juice. That's how often it happens for me. Okay. I've had many, many clients tell me they gave up juices and smoothies and feel and function much better just eating whole foods. So it's okay with me if you disagree, but it's never a disgrace to share the truth or my heartfelt opinion about something. Okay, juices are not natural foods. We're never going to improve on nature. Why would someone need juices when they can simply eat whole foods? Okay, I'll show you here. I can only do one at a time. I've got dragon fruits and persimmons and Asian pears, oranges and grapefruits. I have a bag of tangos left, these tangerine-like things. I think I have some cucumbers and some heirloom tomatoes, and I've eaten everything else I've had here. This is what I have left. All stuff that's relatively high in water. That's all the body needs. It doesn't need juices. Okay, we don't need to do something that is so inferior to whole foods. Why? I mean, it's one way, and if you want to promote it that way, you're entitled to do that. But you can fault me if you want to. I'm going to keep saying what I believe is true. I'm always going to say what I believe is true. Always. Okay, I'm never going to lie to you about anything. The truth, juices are simply inferior foods. And again, go to my juicing videos on YouTube and look at all the comments people saying, I stopped drinking juices because I saw this and I feel much better now. Okay, that's what happens over and over again. All right. All right. Thanks for your comments and your contribution. I appreciate that. Sherry says, I have the Audible version of that book. Need to listen. Okay. I don't know what you're referring to. Loren, you should refrain from criticizing Alan at True North. Why? Why should I, David? Why should I do that? Alan's an ass. I've fasted 221 days and 126 day at Tanglewood, Maryland, every holiday since 2001. Juices are a good beginning for folks on a sad diet. Juices are one way, but there's no reason for anyone to drink juices. Why not just tell people, hey, instead of juices, eat whole foods. They're much better than juices. They're much better. Okay. And Goldhammer's a prick. I'm sorry. I mean, he's not a nice guy. He's a very strange human being. And yeah, I mean, I'm again, he doesn't really understand what he's doing. Okay. It's much safer at True North, much safer. But that's because they ensure that your body can't cleanse and heal at the level that cleansing and healing is actually possible. Difference between soluble and insoluble fiber. Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was on the same thread. I'm gonna scroll back up to the top and take other messages here. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna go over to Instagram for a second and see if there's anything here that I have missed. because I've been focusing here on YouTube. Hello there, Pixie's Healing. Good to see you here. Denexa, good to see you. Alexandre Trinidad, good to see you. Brunner, Alejandro. Okay, lots of people can't hear now. I'm not sure why not. I hope you can hear now. I'm reading this, no sound. No sound too. Okay. Well, I have no idea. Oh, you know what? If you are watching me on YouTube, I said a word, probably COVID, and what Instagram does is they turn off your sound. So sorry about that. I can't do much about that. There's going to be no more sound on Instagram today, I guess. Yeah. Yep. Everyone's saying the same thing. YouTube. Here. Oh, I don't know if I have a pen handy here. Let me see if I can give them a quick message. How we doing? We're down to no time, actually. I've got a call now, a group call with clients, so I've got to go. Folks, it's been a pleasure being with you. Thanks so much. I will look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be back same time on Friday morning live in English, and on Saturday morning at the same time live in Spanish. So hope you have a fantastic week. I wish you the best and hope you make excellent choices and take care of yourself and feel amazingly well. I'll look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.